Hey, welcome to On the Up and Up with Patrick and
Talisha.
And today's episode is all about COVID and chill. Yeah, we got it, guys. But before we get into that, we have shout outs and reviews. What you got, babe?
All right, so my reviews come from the marriage circle. So it goes to Ariel, Lashi, Latifa, Shauna, Davita, Antoine, and Mandy.
And for my shout outs, we have Farm D Battle. We have Mira, Laddie Gat, Troy, Us and Trice, RX Mama 75, One Chocolate Nuke for You, LC Legacy LLC, Said Talk, Greenville Training, Fashionably JD, and Trophy Wife 915. That is interacting with our social media accounts. You can find me on Instagram at I am Pat Ratliff. Find Talisha at
The Farm D Mommy.
And our official Instagram is at Patrick and Talisha. Go head on over to Facebook and like our page at Patrick and Talisha. And also go search Facebook groups for Patrick and Talisha's Marriage Circle. We are over 30 deep now. We are growing. That is our Christian marriage couples, singles, dating, seriously engaged, separated, divorced. You just want to come in with a nice Christian community based on faith, family, fellowship, and finances. We are getting some good discussions in there, and some of them have gave me some good topics that we'll go over in the future. I can't wait. Because, it was some good situations, and student loans suck, basically. That's what we're talking about in there this week. So, look up our marriage circle and come join our community. We are building a movement of positive, happy, long-lasting marriages and breaking those generational curses of crappy relationships and seeing your children learn from those crappy relationships, and then they're going on to have another crappy relationship. Want great relationships, guys, because that's how you break the cycle. Now, do we have any reviews this week, baby? Negative. No reviews. No reviews this week. So we're going to read y'all some old ones, but leave us a review, 5-star rating and review on iTunes, and we will read it on the show. And that gives you your best shot at becoming our listener of the week. So we are going to dive back into our review archives and read some old reviews that we got earlier at the beginning of the show, because we weren't doing listener of the week then. So now that we are doing listener of the week, some people were like, man, I wish y'all would have been doing listener of the week when I was writing my reviews, man. I want that feature. So we will give the people what they want, because that's what we do for the greatest listeners in the world. Baby, you got it pulled up?
I do.
All right, hit them.
All right. So the first one says, episode 2 is my favorite, from Not Her Little Sis. I think episode 2 is the best episode so far because Talisha talks about how much she really loves her amazing, wonderful, talented, beautiful, intelligent, insert about 50 more flattering adjectives, much, much, much younger baby sister Ari, who is still in her 20s. I think that it is just so sweet that she ranks her sister right below Jesus in her level of important people in her life. Follow her amazing little sister on all social media platforms at Airy Funny Comedy for some family-friendly laughs. Signed, Talisha's #1 fan because I am obsessed with her little sister, but I am totally not her little sister. Just an innocent bystander who sees how great her little sister is and knows that Talisha's little sister is a great example of how little sisters should be nowadays. # make little sisters great again.
Okay, thank you for whoever left that great review earlier during our show. Y'all know how I feel about my sister-in-law, so okay, moving on.
All right, and the next one says, episode 7 was a great episode, and it comes from Crusher116. Continued prayers to you, Patrick. I don't know what it's like to lose a mother, but I know it's got to be one of the hardest things to go through, especially if y'all were really close. I gotta say, the entanglement episode opened my eyes a lot. Dealing with issues in a marriage can be trying, but to see how y'all dealt with your issues and talked about them, no matter what, how many days, messing this up, it took us to be really inspiring. Thank you for setting the tone for married couples and letting y'all's experiences guide other couples to the promised land. We appreciate you both.
Who's that from?
That is from Crusher 116.
Crusher 116. I love that guy. That's one of my favorite people in the whole freaking world.
So, yeah, even though Not Her Little Sis says that she's not her little sis,
we know who you are.
we know you are. Busted. Buster.
So we couldn't break the tie for men and women who got Listener of the Week. So that's why we're handing it out to this one of my favorite married couples. Okay, Austin. I will not speak her name.
And Ariel.
There you go, Austin.
And Ariel.
Yes. Now, do Austin
and Ariel
follow our social media?
Yes, they do.
They follow us at Patrick and Talisha.
Absolutely.
They like our Facebook page, Patrick and Talisha.
Oh, yeah.
Are they in the marriage circle?
Yeah, they are.
Have they left us a 5-star rating and review?
They did that.
Oh, you know what that means. Drum roll, please, for our... Wait, I did that all backwards. All right, so that makes Austin and
Ariel
are on the up and up with Patrick and Talisha's Listeners of the Week. She's their Listener of the Week. There are Listeners of the Week. There are Listeners of the Week. We about to take your pictures and put them on the social medias, the Instagrams and the Facebooks. We don't do the Twitters and all the other ones out there. But we're going to get you on the Instagram and the Facebooks because we do have the greatest listeners in the world.
Greatest listeners in the world. COVID.
Now, sister-in-law is a reality TV star. Austin, he is an amazing man. My brother-in-law. The only reason I even talk to my sister-in-law is because of him. I will not have direct contact with her. Everything I do goes through him. And he was the smart one this past last week. As you'll see as we get later into our episode. He's one of the smart ones. He didn't catch it.
Right.
So kudos to Austin out there for being COVID negative.
That's right.
And keeping us safe out there in these streets because we ain't that safe out there in these streets. And that's all I'm going to say. You can talk highly about your sister if you want to.
My sister. Oh my goodness. My little baby sister is the greatest. Yeah, she annoying as crap. But I love her. I just relish in that annoyance. I come for the annoyance all the time. I talk to my sister every day. Usually it is in the form of a 3-way call with our mother. So Patrick calls us 3 sisters. And I love it. I love it. And she is also my beautiful soror. She is my sister by birth and my soror by choice and my friend by choice. And I love her so much. And she's our construction worker. Oh, yes, absolutely. She is my interior decorator. She has decorated the majority of my house. And she decorated my office at work. So, yeah, there's that. But I'm not her assistant. Just putting that out there.
I've never seen anybody take a verbal beating and keep on working for someone.
I'll never be her assistant.
You'll never, yeah. Or treat her with any kind of dignity either.
That's a lie. I'm the most dignified big sister.
Okay. Okay. You couldn't even say that without laughing.
I said that I'm a dignified big sister. Anyways, so they are the awesome host of Double A Shenanigans. Gang. Wait, let me say it like Double A Shenanigans. Gang. So they also have a podcast, a marriage podcast They are hilarious, and they can like freestyle and stuff. I am not that talented. So if you want to go and have a good old time.
And Austin's the best cook.
Austin is a great cook.
Austin can cook 10 times better than Ariel.
Well, Ariel did have to go on that show.
She went on the show. Yeah, she was the worst
went on
cook.
Worst Cooks in America.
Austin wouldn't have made it to the show because he can already cook.
Right. But hey, now that girl can throw down. She's great. She's an awesome chef now. Chef Ari. Put some respect on her name.
You put some respect on her name.
So, Double A Shenanigans. Go subscribe to their show. Listen to them. They are awesome.
They're
awesome,
freaking
awesome.
hilarious now. They are. That show funny. That show funny.
Very, very funny.
It's nostalgic. They'll take you back to your childhood. It's a very, very entertaining show. Thanks to my brother-in-law Austin
and my bestie sissy Ari Funny. Follow her on @AriFunnyComedy. Also, while we were doing the shout outs, whenever you said trophy wife, we gotta go ahead and put a shout out for the Jonessa podcast, Conversations from the Couch.
Yes, we had a guest appearance this week.
Yes, we did. So
our third guest appearance. Other ones we did with Shenanigans.
Yeah, this will be a different podcast.
This is our first one who isn't blood related to us.
Right. So yes, the Jonessa podcast invited Double A Shenanigans, I can't talk, Double A Shenanigans and On the Up and Up together for a joint episode that will be out today as well. So head on over to the Jonessa podcast, and download that. Yeah. Subscribe to their show as well.
Yeah, we talked about Thanksgiving. We talked about everything, man. It was a real good Friday evening conversation, man. It was really fun.
It was.
It was really engaging. It was really fun. We have mixed views on Thanksgiving. Very, very interesting. A lot of different views on Thanksgiving and if we should even celebrate it and how we're going to celebrate it during the COVID.
Right. # macaroni and cheese. # bliss.
# disgusting. Anyways, but yeah, head on over to their show and check out that episode and see our opinions on Thanksgiving. What's next, baby? Did we do what's on the up and up?
And we have not.
All right. So, I hope you have one ready. Do you got one ready?
Okay, every week, you all. I know that this is coming.
It's coming up every single week.
And he always makes me go first. And then whenever I say mine, I'll be like, let me just say something real quick. And I'll say mine, and then he'll have all this time to think about it while I'm telling you all what mine is. And he'll come up with one, and I'm like, that was going to be mine. But I just didn't have time to think about it.
Yeah, all week to come up with one, too. All week. One thing that was good. All week. That's it. That is it. That's why I have a planner where I reflect. I do weekly reflections.
I am Patrick. Man.
I do weekly reflections.
And I do weekly reflections.
Yeah, that's why I have them ready in the chamber.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go first, sweetie? What was on the up and up for you?
What was on the up and up for me? Guess what? It was very freaking simple. My Titans beat the Baltimore Ravens in overtime.
Gosh. Here
all right, we won. We freaking won. They took the game into overtime, and then we hit Lamar Jackson in the freaking mouth, and then pow, Derrick King Henry runs it in for a 29-yard touchdown. So we run the Ravens. All right, we own the Ravens. Tennessee Titans, baby, tighten up. Ahoo, ahoo.
Oh my goodness. .bk. He talking about y'all.
Oh, I forgot.
He talking about y'all.
Yeah, They know. We run the Ravens. we run them Ravens, boy. So that was on the up and up for me because that was overtime, and that gave me lemon booty as I was watching it. That was scary.
I bet it did. I know you were shook,
but we won.
Okay, so I can go ahead and say my on the up and up because it'll go into both of our down and down because I'm pretty sure we have the same down and down. So my up and up was on Tuesday, Rowan was experiencing some symptoms of COVID. And so I was on my way to work and my mom called and was like, hey, Rowan's nose is like running like crazy, leaky faucet running. he feels kind of warm. Yeah, you might not want to go in today. So I had to turn back around from heading into work, and we were able to get him a doctor's appointment to be tested. But his results took a little while to come back. He didn't have a rapid test done. So we did get his results back, and Rowan was negative at that time. So we are praying that he is still negative, and that Weston is negative as well. So that goes right on into the down and down. So yeah, y'all, we got that ish. We got COVID-19.
We got COVID-19. And we will talk about that later in the show. But for now, it's time for my Bible recap.
The Bible recap. With Patrick.
All right, so I'm about 105 days into the Bible. I am in 1 Samuel. And Samuel, that's what the good stories and like that's what David and Goliath. That's what David and Goliath is, and that's basically where I'm at. So who is Samuel? Samuel is a prophet. All right. After they had the era of the judges, and those were the like God's people who he put in the spirit in them, where they could have special powers and go defend the enemies of Israel. Well, that era's passed, and now the Israelites are looking towards a king. Because like, hey, all the other nations, they got kings, man. Why we ain't got no king? That's why we ain't as good as we are, because we ain't got no king, man. We just got like the judges and the prophets who we can't even speak to God, but we got to just take the prophets at their word for it. So Samuel, he was like first prophet. So he's like the first line to God, and he'd be telling you what God's saying. And God was like, your people, they want a king. This is what's going to happen if they get a king. Everything's going to go to crap if you get a king. But they're going to still want a king, all right? I'm going to tell you to tell them all the bad things that's going to happen when they get this king, all right? But they still want a king, so I'm going to let them have a king. So you tell them that, yeah, you should get a king. After all the bad stuff I'm telling them. See, the people won't listen to God no matter what. So he knows they're going to be disobedient. So he was like, all right, give them a king. All right. So Samuel goes out there and sees Saul. Saul's tall and handsome, and he's a good warrior. So he anoints him the king. And Saul has lots and lots of flaws. But they start winning, man. They start winning, but he doesn't listen to everything God tells him to do. He goes rogue sometimes because, ego and pride gets in the way. And it's still brutal, man. Like Samuel, like, they still are focusing on like the mission, because back then, even like during Joshua's times, like they did not kill all the people, and they're still lingering around. So God still like kill everything, and when he means everything, women, children, oxes, everything. So Saul goes in there, he wins the battle, but he's like, dang, they got some real good meat up in here. We're gonna keep this. And Samuel's like, oh my gosh. And so Saul takes one of the kings as hostage. And Samuel's like, he said, take everything. So Samuel goes in there and chops the hostage up, the king, up into pieces. Because he's like, I know to be obedient to God. Y'all ain't about to get me out here killed. And then he's like, hey, God curses you. You ain't about to be king no more. So this will make Saul all paranoid. And Samuel goes out there. He sees David. He's like, hey, you about to be the king. You ain't the biggest. You ain't the strongest. You ain't the smartest. You the youngest. Who would ever think of you as the king? That's why God does great things in the people you would least expect it. So he's like, because if he picks like the best, that's not going to show his glory. But if he goes out there and picks like the people no one else expects, he's like, that's how you see God's awesome glory. So when he picks you, you are the one. So then we go into David and Goliath. Y'all know the story. David kills Goliath, and now Saul's like, holy crap, I'm paranoid. So he's super paranoid because he thinks the people are going to love David, and he's not going to be able to pass down the stuff to his sons because they've already been told, because he already knows he's not chosen. So he's super paranoid, tries to kill David. And that's where I'm at right now. We're not done with the David. David hasn't even become king yet, but he is but the people are starting to love him more than Saul, and Saul is starting to get jealous. Even Saul's own son loves David a lot. So, and he's like, hey, Saul trying to kill you, man. I'm gonna let you know, and gives him warnings up here. But yeah, it's good stories. There's war, which this is like the story part of the Bible. So this is very interesting. And I will let you guys know what I'm up to next week. So now we get to tell y'all about COVID. So when did this COVID thing start, T?
Oh, so like I said, Tuesday, Rowan had the symptoms. Tuesday, whenever I got back home with Rowan Patrick, you had a few symptoms, right?
No.
Yes, you did. You said something to me.
Never had something.
Oh, whatever.
So a little tingling throat, maybe.
Yeah. And then Tuesday evening, I had like a little splitting headache. It was more like resembling a caffeine withdrawal headache. But that was it. Like I felt fine all day on Monday and on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, whenever I woke up, now granted I did get up and down with Rowan, but when I woke up on Wednesday, I had a splitting headache and I had a cough and a little bit of a runny nose. I felt like crap on Wednesday. How did you feel on Wednesday?
Fine.
Whatever.
I felt fine. Sorry.
So on Wednesday, because I wasn't feeling well, we didn't know what Rowan's results were. We just decided, let's be responsible and get a COVID test. So I also called my sis. I was like, how you feeling? And she's like, I can't taste or smell anything. Nothing at all. So, sorry putting your business on out here in these streets, but yeah.
She got the Rona too.
Okay, well, he really put you out there. But Austin don't have it.
But Austin ain't got it.
Right. So, yeah, definitely scary. We went and got tested. So the test is really not bad, you all. If you feel like you might have come into contact with someone who tested positive or anything like that, like I definitely advise you to go get tested. Don't be scared of the test, because whenever we had heard people talking about the test, it was always like, oh no, it's going to like the cotton swab's going to touch your brain. They have to go so far up in your nose. That's not true. They do swab both nostrils, but if my 1-year-old can handle it, trust me, you can handle it. It just feels a little weird, but it does not hurt. So, yeah, the results came back positive. The doctor came in and, let us know. And we had to be escorted out the back entrance of the door of the urgent care or doctor's care. And like I said, it's just kind of like surreal freaking hearing that you got COVID-19. You hear all about it and it sucks being a positive case. I've had symptoms this whole time since Wednesday. Like my nose feels really congested and it feels kind of like if you have been cleaning with bleach, it feels like tingly and stuff. And I've had like some GI symptoms. So if you have GI symptoms, that is a symptom. A GI symptom like diarrhea.
Okay.
That is definitely a symptom. I've definitely had a nauseous, queasy stomach this whole time too. But if you just feel like congested or like you have a cold, it could be COVID. So yeah, that's my PSA.
Yeah, so I haven't had any symptoms or sickness except for today. I definitely lost my sense of smell. I can't smell anything anymore. So that's the only thing. But other than that, I felt fine. I've been pretty much asymptomatic this whole time. So, but that's it. I really feel fine. Like nothing. I feel even better today. I've been taking the Airborns and the orange juice. But what did the doctor say do since we had it?
So definitely you can utilize ibuprofen or Tylenol, drink plenty of water. Of course, get your good old doses of vitamin C, B12. We ordered a Pulse Ox. Shout out to My friend in Atlanta, Dr. Ado, she is an infectious disease pharmacist. And so she was definitely really sweet and, tried to make sure that she threw some more gems my way. So I did get a pulse oximeter. You can get one of those on Amazon for like $20, but that's just so that you can see what your breathing looks like as far as your O2 sats go. Have a thermometer so you can check your temperature. And we had to alert people that we were in contact with for the 48 hours prior to the beginning of our symptoms. So for us, my symptoms really came on, I would say, Wednesday. So Tuesday, Monday, and then just to be safe, Sunday.
So did you have to go contact everyone from who you had contact with on Sunday and then on?
Yes.
So that was?
So on Sundays, we have our life group, and we definitely sit very close together, and we have a great time reading a book, and we're definitely growing in our relationship. So, of course, we let each other know.
Uh-huh. And anybody at work? Because I was isolated. I didn't have anybody besides the people on Sunday.
Right. So, yeah. And then I also let the people at work know. So I only had come into contact with a couple of people. Well, also to know, close contact is for 15 minutes within 6 feet of each other. And that's whether you have your mask on or not. So just thinking back to the people that I spent that kind of time with, I didn't spend that kind of time with very many people like that at work. But definitely on Sunday, contacting those people.
Yeah. Yeah. So once you get tested positive, you can't really go anywhere. So we are stuck in the house, quarantined, and because we didn't know if Rowan had it, that means Nana can't watch him anymore until his results come back. Well, after we got it, we was like, well, since the baby's with us and Weston's with us, it don't matter if they test positive or not or negative, they gonna have to quarantine for the amount of time that we have to stay quarantined too. So that has to take Weston. We had to take Weston out of daycare and Rowan from Nana's house. So we have been quarantined since Wednesday, trying to work together and watch the children and go about our day to day. And let me tell you, that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, because you are not prepared for that. I am not prepared to watch children all day. I suck at that. That is exhausting. That is hard. But I have to play my role because Talisha has to work, because that's our main source of income right now. I'm working on the business, but the income is not flowing in for me like that. So I need to watch the kids because she's at a new job as well. So she has a whole bunch of responsibilities. So I'm sitting here watching Rowan and Weston, and that is work. That is serious work. And it wore down on me. Matter of fact, it wore down on me till today, Sunday night, as we record this podcast. Broke me down. It broke me down being in the quarantine because I'm extroverted. I have to see people, and it threw me off my whole routine of like working alone from home. I don't like working alone from home, but I've been settled into that routine. And now that Talisha and the boys are in the house, it completely threw me off my game. That's why there's no First Class Friday. Completely threw me off my game. And yeah, so we've been working through that. So we can talk about like the challenges of being quarantined. So for those parents out there oh my goodness, I don't see how y'all do it. This has been one of the hardest things to actually do. And I can't go anywhere. Our mother-in-law has to get a shopping list and bring us groceries and drop them on the front porch like we're some disease infested rodent.
But the good thing is that she's so sweet to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Volunteer to do that.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how you got to get your groceries. But quarantine life is not easy. What have you found to be challenging for you?
Yeah, so it is challenging to work from home because I'm used to being able to go and be in my office and have everything nice and organized and neat and quiet and all that stuff. So having to be in here and having the boys saying, "Where's mommy? I want mommy." That's really hard. And then just also trying to make sure that I balance the time and trying to flex the time. So my work day is just not like my normal, like 9 to 5 type of thing. So just trying to be able to do some work outside of those hours so that Patrick can get some stuff done as well. Yeah, that's been pretty challenging. So you talked about it being challenging and you kind of had like a little bit of a breakdown or a meltdown. What happened?
Yeah. Did I mention like I've been out of my routine, and when I get out of my routine, I start to spiral down, having towards like negative emotions. Like I start feeling like a big victim and just trying to get the marriage circle up for the first week and just working on all these projects that I got going on, trying to do the coaching practice. I had to put that to the side and it sounds ridiculous, but watch my children. And it is tough watching a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. I mean, it's not my forte. It's not what I'm good at because they're at daycare all day. I was like, I think daycare people who watch children all day, they're freaking heroes because I had to do it and they all broke me down, man. There's just no break. There's no break. And like I said, I'm used to like working with people. And full disclosure, I hate kids. I hate, especially other people's kids. I do not like other people's children. When I was a daycare counselor in college, worst job I ever freaking had. I hate kids. Love my kids, but I can't stand other people's kids. But still had to watch my little kids. And instead of like really sitting there and enjoying the process of having my 2 children at home, I'm focusing on all the work that I'm not getting done. And then it feels like work instead of like being their father. And when it feels like work, you get angry and irritated. And when I feel like I'm working and you're in here working on your projects and stuff, I feel like, well, I'm pulling all the weight here in the family. And I told you the analogy that I had is like I'm freaking rowing the boat. And I feel like I'm rowing the boat by myself. And you just picked up the oar and started doing your own thing. And I was like, well, I'm freaking tired of rowing the boat by myself. All this is stories that I made up in my head because I'm frustrated because I'm not doing what I want to do. And that's where mindset comes in and dictates everything on how you go about life. So I tell this story where, hey, I'm working harder than Talisha is because we're in COVID and I'm isolated and I'm watching these kids. She needs to take a break from her job and come help me out and come relieve me or something like that. And since I'm doing this all day, when we get to nighttime and the bath time and try to get the kids ready, I'm trying to get them in bed as fast as possible because I'm ready to get them out my hair. And I didn't communicate that with you. And so you're taking, I interpret you as taking your time and getting them into bed. And so that's making me mad because I'm working like double hard trying to get them in bed like by 7:30. And then I look up, it's like 8 o'clock, 8:30. I'm super hot now. And I'm just like, screw it. I'm not going to row the boat anymore. If I'm just tired of spending all this energy like trying to get these kids into bed so that I can have my peace and try to work on my projects. And so I looked at you as the enemy as opposed to my teammate. And then that had went on for like a couple of days. And then today, Sunday night, I was just like, you know what? I need a break. I need a break. I need a break. I need a break. So I just went into the room, closed the door, isolated myself. I started journaling. I really had to break down what I was actually feeling and all my emotions of why I was feeling the way I was feeling. And usually when every time that you direct anger towards someone else, it's because something's not going right with you internally. And like I said, I was frustrated, man, because I don't get to work on my projects that I'm trying to build this thing from the ground up. And so that anger is directed towards my wife. And you know how I was acting because you told me what did you say?
No, I was like, you woke up pissy. Like you've been pissy all morning. And then I was like, well, not all morning, but you definitely had a bad attitude whenever you woke up this morning. And so yeah, it was pretty obvious. Even though we talk about expectations and communication, like about the bedtime thing, like I didn't know we were bumping bedtime up by 30 minutes. It was 7:50, 7:52 or something like that whenever you had got upset initially because they weren't asleep or weren't going to bed. And I didn't know that your intentions were 7:30 that night. So, I mean, we have to practice what we preach and communicate with each other as well. So we're not perfect with communication.
Yeah, what my justification for being mad was, follow my lead. You see I'm working hard to get these kids into bed. Why wouldn't you follow my lead? I was like, well, you're a crappy follower.
And I'm like, well, you gotta tell somebody that they're supposed to be following
the lead.
You gotta tell them first.
Just pick up on the signs.
Nah.
But that's not reasonable. You have to communicate everything until y'all get synthesized and synergized.
But even still, our normal nightly routine is be in bed by what time? 8. And then you changed that expectation to 7:30.
I internally changed the expectations because I was tired of being quarantined.
Exactly.
So I'm really trying to get rid of the kids.
Right. So we are synergized and we do work towards a common effort of getting them to bed at 8 o'clock. But that time had changed for you. And I didn't know that it had changed for you because it had not changed for me. So I was working towards getting them to bed at 8.
Yeah.
So just communicating. I think that's going to be our biggest takeaway, even though we already know that ish. Like knowing that and practicing that is common sense isn't always common practice, just like Brendan Burchard says. So yeah, like in quarantine, like communicate with each other, and also being thankful and grateful for the opportunities that we have, because thankfully you're in a position where you can be at home and help us. Thankfully, I'm in a position where I can work from home and help you, and just being really mindful and being grateful for our circumstances and being thankful that our kids are not COVID positive and that they're healthy and that they're well and that they're, again, healthy enough to be able to make messes and be able to be little grits. Yeah, I think that's, and obviously we still have a whole week of quarantine left, but that's my biggest takeaway so far.
Yeah, that's what I wrote in my planner for Monday. If there was one message I could say to myself, it would be patience and gratitude. Because that's what you need to get through this quarantine. Because my God, that thing was hard. It hit me a lot harder than I thought it was going to hit me. Because isolation doesn't work for me whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that was our 3 days of COVID. And you have to not like look into the future. You have to stay present, because if I look into the future, I'm like, dang, another 5 days of the same freaking routine. And that's going to already impact my mentality and make it negative. I got to be present and see what's right in front of me and be in that moment. Because if you start looking forward, it's only going to create more anxiety. So, and that makes you a crappy husband and a crappy dad when you want to be a great husband and a great dad. Shoot. See, y'all, man, look, we go through it just like everyone else. So if y'all got any quarantine stories, your mental, like, email us at the show at podcast@patrickandtalisha.com. Shoot. Hit us up for the marriage circle as well. Like, I might bring up some of that discussion in the marriage circle and just see how people are actually doing in quarantine. For you parents and teachers out there, and yeah, the moms, the dads who have like elementary style kids in the home, like, God bless y'all. 'Cause I would kill somebody by now. And it's only been like 2 days. So yeah, God bless y'all.
Yes, God bless y'all. And yeah, just pray for us, because like Patrick said, I mean, it's throwing us out of our routines. We're doing things that are not the norm. It's just different. And my mom keeps rowing. Weston goes to daycare like
We usually just have our kids full time on the weekend. That's it. We don't have them for 24 hours a day. But now we do. So it's just something different. And I like what you said, Patrick, about just changing your mindset about, about the upcoming week and just making sure that we go into it with a open, positive attitude and not a dreadful attitude.
Yep. Set yourself up for success on Sunday so your Monday can be great. I think that's it for it today.
All right. We'll catch y'all next time.
God bless.
Thank you for listening to On the Up and Up with Patrick and Talisha. For access to all of our episodes, please subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and wherever you listen to our show. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes, and we will give you a shout out on our next episode. Stay connected with us on Twitter and Instagram at I am Pat Ratliff and at the Farm D Mommy. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next week. God bless.